After reading that book, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, you will see why this book is best-selling in New York Times. Through that book, you will see a broken past that you wouldn't have wished at all in your life. In the first chapters of this book, you will see how abusive his father was towards his mother. And at a very young age, he decided to support his mother by voicing out against injustice. But in doing so, his father would be abusive towards himself. Finally, after years of suffering, his mother decided to leave his father. David and his mother decided to go and live at his grandmother's place in Brazil. However, his brother decided to stay with his father, a decision that David says in this book that he will never forgive his brother for that. In Brazil, however, life wasn't that easy for him. He didn't score good grades at school, and in addition to that, he faced racism. And he even got threats of death at school. But David knew that inside of him there was a dream that would enable him to get out of this life at Brazil. The dream of becoming a Navy SEAL. Being 300 pounds, however, was a great obstacle for him. He had to lose over 100 pounds in less than a year if he wanted to become a Navy SEAL. In his days of training, he realized how harsh his coaches were against him. He described his coaches as a sort of bully. But he showed himself one thing. He would be harsh against himself, he would push against his limits, and he would show to his coaches that however how harsh they would be towards him, he will not give up. An attitude that I would like to have, and I would definitely encourage you to have that sort of attitude in your life. And after weeks of training, he finally succeeded to get through that Navy SEAL training. He graduated out of 306 candidates and only 26 made it through. Let me ask you another question. Are you struggling to run a single lap in your life? If you read this book, you will see how David Goggins was struggling to run a single mile in his life. But he managed to run many races of more than 100 miles in his life. Discover how hard it was for him to finish those races. He saw many quitting, but he, even in great pain, he decided not to quit. It was so horrible for him at that time. And there is so much to read, to tell in this book. But after reading this book, I can guarantee you that you will never lack motivation to finish your workouts. And you'll give more than what you used to give during your training. That's one thing I can guarantee you for sure.